Hi, everybody, and welcome. As you're coming in here, hit that love button or any of the other emojis and let me know where you're coming in from, where you're at. And also make sure in each one of these lives, you make sure what you're stuck, you tell me what you're stuck on. So I can better help you guys and schedule lives that are going to be beneficial for you guys. Now, if you have not already done so, you can get the worksheet for this live at bit.ly/interview-worksheet. That way you can follow along during the live as I ask the questions there. Now, if you need me to pull that back up, just let me know in the comments here. And also, with the comments, Facebook wants you to give StreamYard permission before I can see who it is that's commenting. So before you comment, there should be a link in the description. You can click it and just give StreamYard permission to use or to see your name or to post your name and your picture in the comments. That way you can only have to do it once, and that way I can talk to you one-on-one and know who I'm talking to. Okay. Now, what I want to discuss first is the interview itself and take you through that workbook. And then once we're done with that, I have all of these different cards. I have 9 different decks that I want to go through with you guys and help you guys to pick out a new deck for you guys, if you don't already have one that you're already using. So, okay, now let's get going here. Now, the first question that I like to ask a deck is what do you want me to know about you? Now, basically, the questions in this interview are all about getting to know your deck and getting to know the energy of the deck and how the deck will best serve you as a reader, and what it expects from you as a reader and how it's going to be used. There's a lot of different, of course, interpretations that you can get from the interview, which is why I suggest you download the workbook and either print it out or make some blank copies so you can go through the interview a few times with the same deck over amount of time, because I like to do it at least, once every 6 months or so with a deck, because vibrations can change depending on how many readings you do with your cards and what those readings are about. Sometimes things can change and your vibes can change with the cards, and you might have loved a deck at a certain point, but now you're just not connecting with that deck. So you can use the interview worksheets as a way to reconnect with your cards. Now, basically, you just give them a quick shuffle. And just to give you a heads up, my daughter is home. She is sick. So if you hear her coughing or blowing your nose, that's what's going on there. Now, what do you want me to know about you? Now, this is a question that you would ask the deck. So maybe it's something that the deck doesn't like. Maybe it is something that it prefers. What type of readings it prefers to do, which that is also a question on here too. So we're going to let's hide that one. Okay, now basically you would just draw the card like you would a normal, after you shuffle, you would just flip the card and draw it. Now, this is the Ace of Swords that I pulled for that. So the way I would interpret that would be to me, is that the deck really loves to give information on uh, different topics that people are wanting to know about. So if it is an information, like uh, pretty much bringing a new information to solve problems for people. This is a problem solving deck. That's what this one likes to do. And just in case you're wondering, this is the Witch's Tarot that I'm using right now. I just kind of picked it up, so it's not one that I usually do use this in the readings, because I use 5 different decks or so with each reading, depending on the reading, because I like to do clarifying cards. And just in case you're wondering, the black spots on my fingers, um, the tripod pinched me. So um, that's what those are. That's what those are. Just in case you're wondering, it's not a marker. It's actually, I got pinched. It's a blood. Okay, now where were we? Okay, now the next question: what kind of tarot deck are you? What sums up your personality? And again, you would just do the same thing. You would, shuffle your deck, give it a little bit of a shuffle, and then, just draw the card. And what I drew was the 10 of Wands. Now, the personality of this deck is, it the way I would interpret this card is, it likes hard work. It likes the hard questions. It likes to see, it likes things that are tough for most people to figure out. So with the combination of the Ace of Swords and the 10 of Wands, it likes the tough questions. It likes to give the new information that helps solve the tough questions and helps them get past um, it helps people get past what has been bothering them. Now, what issues and areas of life do you specialize in? Now, this one is one that is really a question for both you and your deck, because this is going to be, this is one of the main questions that you need to ask yourself when you're starting to become a tarot reader, is what do you want to concentrate on? I mean, do you like relationship questions? Do you like answering, is he or she going to stay with me? All those kind of questions that come with relationships. Or are you a more career oriented? Do you like helping people create a path, a long-term path with their career, things like that? And again, you would do that shuffle and grab a card and interpret that card as to the question. And how can you best help me? Now, as a deck, I like this question because it gives more of a perspective from the deck's view, from the deck's point of view, as to how it's going to work with you, how with your specialization into what you like to specialize in, if it's going to be compatible with um, that type of readings. Now, what is most important to you in a tarot reader? Now, and again, this is from the card's point of view. What does the deck expect of you? What is it that the deck really likes and really looks for when it comes to a tarot reader? How do you see our relationship? Now, how do you see us working together? Is it going to be cohesive? Is it going to be problematic? Is there going to be misinterpretations? Things like that. What do you want me to know about you? This one can get funny. I like this because a lot of times it'll come up with a card that's just out of left field that you weren't expecting. Um, and uh, pretty much like what can I say? Like the deck that I have in here, the So Below deck, the Ace of Earth. It came up once, and basically the way I interpret the Ace of Earth, it's like a stagnant energy. It's beginning. There's all this hope in this card, but left up to their own devices, you're just going to sit there stagnant, and you're just going to be sitting there on the couch as a couch potato watching TV. And basically I kind of equate that to some husband-wife relationships. If one person isn't on this person constantly, then this other person is just going to sit there and not do anything. So a point of nagging kind of comes in with that card. So sometimes it can get pretty comical. Now, I ask this next question twice. What are your strengths? And the reason why I ask this question twice is because a lot of times you're not doing just the one type of reading. You're going to be doing many different readings. Word of mouth gets around that you're a tarot reader, and you have people coming in, and you can't really, depending on whether or not you're comfortable answering questions, because number one, I will not answer medical questions. No, not at all. I will not answer those, because that can get you into a lot of trouble, especially when you have grieving family members coming to you asking, is this person going to make it through this sickness, or anything like that, or how can I help this person get through this, is more of a question that I would divert to, because I don't believe that tarot can tell the future. I believe tarot is used as a guiding, as a guide. It's not a yes or no kind of thing. I like the more, how can I improve? How can I help this person? Or how can I help myself? Those kind of questions. So I asked this twice just in case, because like I said, you're going to have different people coming in probably on the same day. You're going to have different readings over different topics, career, love, money, you name it. You're going to be, so asking it twice and seeing what the answers are with that and what the deck likes is the best thing to do. Now, what are the limitations? What are your limitations? I like this because there's a lot of times when the connection to the deck is just not what you need it to be, and you have to put this deck aside. Like, let's just say this deck, you really get great answers when it comes to career, but it does not give you very beneficial cards or answers when it comes to love life. Something, and the exact opposite with this deck. So it's just asking that question, really, on top of the other two, what are your strengths, really cements in there what you can use those cards for and what you should. Now, what advice do you have for me as a reader? This, a lot of times I like to use the major arcana of the deck. So that really cements in, I guess, what direction that the deck would like to see everything go in, if you get my meaning, because the major arcana are all about life's journey, life's path. So that's what I usually like to do with this question, is just use the major arcana, so you can really base your future on with the deck on that card. Now, how can I best learn from you? basically the same thing. I use the major arcana with that question as well. So you can know what path that the deck really likes to go in as well. Now, what is the potential outcome of working with you? Is it going to be is it going to be constant back and forth? Is it going to be clear answers? Is it going to be easy to read, easy to foresee? Things like that. And the last one here is really a question for you. And in the workbook, as you'll see, it's a big, there's quite a bit of space for you to be able to write this down now. It's what are your thoughts about the entire interview with that deck, and where do you see yourself using that deck, and in what kind of readings, what type of readings are you going to be using that deck in? Now, what I want to do now, I got to go back there, sorry, is I want to go through all of these different decks here with you. Now, these are, I got to get used to this. These are the oracle cards. These aren't tarot cards. These are oracle cards. And a lot of times, these are used as like an overview of the entire reading. And I really do like these because they do add quite a bit of depth to your reading. But I'll give you a peek. Let's see if these will come. If you can see these here. Now these ones just have little sayings written on them. I don't know if you guys can see. There you go. And you can interpret them in your own way from each of the sayings that are on the cards. I mean, you can, of course, go in many different directions. Now, the links to these, you can get these all on Amazon, but I do have some decks coming in. I have 40 decks coming in that I ordered. They're being printed and shipped. Should have them at the end of March. So if you want to pre-order, just comment on the live stream and I will get back to you with how to pre-order those decks. And I'll tell you which decks they are that are coming in. And again, these oracle cards, you know, these are kind of like tarot cards. Excuse me. But again, you can use your own intuition here with these cards. These are what the oracle cards are pretty much meant for, is for you to completely use your intuition, or you can make sure that you buy the guidebook. But with the decks that I order, there's QR codes. Now, when you scan that QR code, you can get the URL or the website, the web page that has the entire guidebook for free. So you don't have to buy the extra guidebook. You don't have to spend that extra money. All of my decks are going to be $16.97 plus $7.45 shipping and handling. Sorry about the expensive shipping and handling, but thank you to UPS and FedEx. You know, that was the cheapest was that I could ship them, was $7.45. Okay. Now those are, like I said, I use those cards basically for an overview of the reading, or, you know, the overview of the problem and what path to start down. Now, this is the Wild Unknown Tarot. Sorry about the ripped box. It was giving me trouble, but I really love this deck. I use this in my readings, in all of my readings, as clarifying cards. And that is another question you can ask your deck, is whether it likes to be the dominant card or whether it likes to be a clarifier. That's another question that you can ask if you're curious with your deck. Now, this is the back of the card. And I really like these cards because they are really vibrant with their coloring. You know, they have the black, but they have the colors that pop on them, where the major emphasis should be in the card. It pops out in different color, especially the reds. I really like the reds that are in this deck. There's just a few of these cards. Now, I would not recommend this deck for a beginner. This would be one that I would suggest for someone who's been reading for a little while, has some practice. I mean, you don't need a lot of practice, but I'm just saying this isn't a very descriptive deck for a beginner. You know, even if you look at this is the Three of Wands. You look at this and you have to know the meaning of the Three of Wands. That's just, or your meaning for the Three of Wands. Now, I don't do traditional meanings for the cards. I start with the traditional meanings and then I make my own. And I teach you how to do that, the basics for that, in the Tarot Transformation Bootcamp, which is coming up at the end of this month in this group. So if you want to get the workbook for that, make sure you go directly to astrologyoils.com. That is the home page. You put your email in there, and as soon as I get the workbook done, it will be sent to your email. So if you really want to participate in that boot camp, make sure that you go there and put your email in there so you can get all of the worksheets and the workbook for the boot camp. Now, the boot camp, I'm going to take you through the major arcana and how to form your own meanings for the major arcana by using the experiences in your life to relate to each of these cards. That way you're not forgetting what that card means, and it's your own meaning. And because it's your own meaning and it has all of that emotion behind it, that sticks in your head. You'll never forget the meaning of those cards. Okay, now that was the Wild Unknown. This is, of course, the one that I just had out. This is the Witch's Tarot. This is the back. And the front of these cards, these are pretty descriptive. So you can use these as a beginner. This is a pretty good deck because of the description and the vision in the cards. The imagery of the cards is pretty descriptive. So you can use this as a beginner. And I do like how crisp and clear these images are and how descriptive they are. You know, this is the sun. Now, I'm trying to get it, but it's kind of reflecting there. So it's that is the Witch's Tarot. Now, how many of you are looking forward to the boot camp? Now, let me know in the comments if you're looking forward to that boot camp. I'm going to be covering quite a lot in those 5 days. Let me know what problems that you need me to discuss during that 5-day boot camp too. You know, make sure you post that in the comments too. That way I can cover a lot more. Now, this is the Wildwood Tarot. And again, I would not suggest this as a beginning tarot deck. But if you've been doing tarot for a while, you can go ahead and this is a great deck. I do love this deck, and I do use it in my readings as clarifiers. It is very descriptive, and a lot of this is used. It uses, the totem, animal totem, as well as the Wiccan religion. So it adds a lot more depth and perspective into a reading. I mean, the imagery is awesome. I do really like it, and there is a good connection that I have with these cards. Okay, now this deck, I have 5 coming. If you want to pre-order these, I do have 5 of these coming. And I have 5 of these coming, the Witch's Tarot. And I have, 5 of these coming, the Wild Unknown. Okay, let's put these up here. Now, this next deck is the one that I started with. This is, I really love this deck. And this is quite well used. I use this all the time. I use this pretty much daily on my daily tarot draw. Now, this is the Gilded Tarot. I love this, and there's my favorite card right there, the High Priestess. I mean, the imagery in these cards and the colors and everything is just, it hits so spot on. This is my ultimate go-to for beginners. So these cards, like I said, they're just so pretty and so descriptive. The imagery is so descriptive. And you have the Queen of Pentacles and the King. I guess I better, these are all in order here, so. 5 of Swords, just to throw up a couple more of that. And the 6 of Swords. And Puppy got a hold of these ones. I have many different decks of this particular deck because I use it so much. I have to have extras. And speaking of extras, I mean, there's the 4 of Wands. I love that. I love these cards. They are so pretty. I do have 3 decks here right now. So if you want one of these 3 decks, you can order them now and I can have them shipped out to you. If you're local around the Limestone, Bradford, Olean area, Limestone, Olean, New York, Bradford, PA, if you're in that area, I can hand deliver it. So you won't have the shipping and handling charges. So it'll just be $16.97. But like I said, I have 3. I have 3 that are ready to go. Oops. The Gilded Tarot. Now I have 5 more of these coming, and I also have 5 more of the blue Gilded Tarot. Now, what is the difference? Now, these you just seen, the black. This is the black. Get this out here. Now, as you see, the outline is black around the card. I do have the blue coming in. Let me see if I can find that for you. Okay, right there. That's what the blue looks like. It has the blue outline. And now I have 5 of those coming. If you want the blue, they will be in beginning of April. Now, this is another deck that I have coming. I have 5 of these coming. I'm only going to sell 4 because I'm keeping 1 because they are so pretty. So if you want the sweet deck, that's what that is. I mean, it is just absolutely gorgeous. And then I like this one. This one's got 4 different languages on it. So If you see in the corners there, there's different, it's 4 different languages, but the imagery is beautiful. So I have 5 of those coming as well. Okay, let me get back here. Whoops. Sorry about that. There we go. Okay, so that was the difference there. You know, you have the black and then you have the blue. So whichever one you guys, if you want to order those, I have 3 of the black here now that you can order, and I can ship them out. I got 3 of those. And I got 5 more coming of the black and 5 of the blue. Now, this tarot deck, I call it my vampire tarot deck. I do not have a really good connection with this deck. And I have tried and I have tried and I have tried. And there's just something about this deck that we don't click. But it is a pretty deck. I mean, I really like the cards. I like the colors. But for some reason, I just don't click with it. If one of you guys would like this deck, I will, since it's opened and I've used it, I'll give it to you for half price. So about $8, $8.50 for this deck, and I will ship it out to you. You see, it does have the 4 different languages, one in each corner, and it is very descriptive. And I really do like the imagery in these cards. They really are pretty. But I just personally have not been able to connect with these cards. So if you would like these cards, let me know in the comments and I will get back with you. But I did not order any more of this deck. But any of these decks, if you don't want to wait for mine to come in, you can get these decks on Amazon. And the links are in the description of the live. You should see them up there. Now, I have one more deck. I forgot to get it out, so I gotta... which is just the regular Rider-Waite. And I do have 5 of the Rider-Waites coming in, but they're not this big. The Rider-Waites that I ordered are the same size as these decks here. You know, they're the smaller size. If you want the bigger Rider-Waites, you can, of course, order them on Amazon. Let me get these out here. And again, I have more of the Gilded Tarot because, like I said, I use them all the time. I have them everywhere. I mean, just look at the sides, how much I've used this deck. I don't know if you can really see that, but this deck is very, very used. Now, of course, these are the regular Rider-Waites. These are the back. Whoop, this is the back of the deck. And of course, these are great for beginners because they do have all of the elements to the cards that are needed for the descriptiveness. This is 4 Pentacles. So if you are looking for a beginner deck, the Rider-Waite are, of course, one of the best decks to use, which are basically what most of the decks are based on, is the Rider-Waite. Okay, now, last but not least is my favorite set of cards. Now, I absolutely adore these cards, even more than the Gilded Tarot, and that's saying something because I really love the Gilded. But here, this next set you can get on Amazon. It is the Book of Shadows collection, As Above and So Below, and it's the complete set, and it comes in this box, and it's a magnetic box, and you do get the book with it. And the book, of course, is, let me see if I can get this. I mean, the pictures and stuff in the book and the descriptions are just really stunning. But this deck, as far as using it, I absolutely love to use it as a clarifying deck, as a clarifying set, I should say. Now, this is the As Above deck. Now, you can tell because it's got the blue outline. This is Samhain or Halloween. And this is the epitome of Celtic or Wiccan religion, or witchcraft. These are deities. These are, this is the elemental of air. And this is the Ace of Earth. And as you see, you can see a pentacle in there. So it does give you hints as to what these are. And of course, Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Earth, Earth and Pentacles. And you also do have at the top, you have your crescents. And this is a mother of air. Now, of course, in the book, there are different descriptions for these cards because these are, these go with witchcraft in that type of religion, the Wiccan religion. This Three of Water, this is, this is the type of card that would bring like a relief. You've finally reached that point in your life where you have access of everything and you can relax. You can finally breathe that sigh of relief. You have made it to that point where you see your savings in your savings account. You see the people around you. You are rich in every different resource that you need. You have it, and you have it in excess. So there is different meanings. Because if you were to go into Ace of, or the Three of Water would be the Three of Cups in the regular reading. That would be celebration, bringing in for your friends coming to town and you guys are going out celebrating. It's like a reunion, class reunion, things like that. So there are different meanings for these cards, but they are so vibrant and it just takes the tarot readings to a higher level, I think, bringing in different aspects of the different religion and different deities, different, I guess, different holidays, things like that, like the summer solstice, winter solstice. And of course, you have the goddess. And then you have the wheel of the year. It's not the wheel of fortune, it's the wheel of the year, which basically you're moving on. Everything is moving in the direction it's supposed to be moving in. You're moving in the next logical direction of your career, of your love life, what have you, the next stage of your life. You're getting set, getting ready to move on to that. Spell casting. This is another absolutely gorgeous card. I love that card. Now that was the As Above. I'm not going to sit here and go through every card, but this was the As Above deck. And these are the backs of that card, just in case you're wondering. And then you have the So Below. Now the So Below are more traditional tarot. You have the Seven of Pentacles, Sorry about my dog whining. She's going to go out. So I'm going to get through this here quicker. Of course, you have the Two of Pentacles. Katarina, can you let her out, please? I don't know if you can see this reflection is pretty bad there. Six of Wands. The So Below is, like I said, it's more traditional tarot, but the imagery is just spot on. It's beautiful. It's descriptive. So if you're learning tarot, you can use the So Below cards to learn, but the As Above is there's a learning curve with the As Above cards. You have to go through and learn what a lot of those mean, and then of course make up your own descriptions from there. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this live today. I think that was all that we were going to discuss on today's live. If not, please comment below and we can discuss it further. But from now on, I'm going to go live every Monday. I announced that last week. So make sure on all of these lives, you give me more of your problems. What more do you need to know about tarot? Where are you going? Things like that. And don't forget, if you want one of these decks of cards that are coming in at the end of the month, early end of March, early April, let me know. That way I can get with you and you can get those ordered in or back ordered. If you don't want to wait, then go ahead. The links are in the description to get these cards on Amazon. And you can get them faster. And especially, the Book of Shadows, that the link for that is in there as well. And I will see you guys next Monday. Let me know how you like this down in the comments. See you next Monday.